You're now listening to DND live on demand. What up, world? Welcome back to another episode of the DND football podcast, going Commander style tonight. Of course, you got your host DH, and we got my partner in crime, D Mitty. D Mitty, what up?
Feeling good, feeling great. How about you, my boy?
Hey, man, I'm doing amazing, especially after getting a win on Sunday against the Jacksonville Jaguars, man. Like Jameis Winston say, we gonna eat a W. You know what I'm saying? Got the win over Jacksonville, man. So it's been a victory Monday all week, bro. How'd you feel after that? After getting the dub, man?
Man, let me tell you, bro. During the game, I was excited to feel like I had a team that was gonna win. After the game, it was just like I'm ready for Detroit. Bring on them Lions because I was riding the high of the name as we talked about in the previous episode, like the name change and all of the moves. It was like the win just solidified the off season, but now it's time to put together a team.
Absolutely. And before we get more into last week's game and preview this upcoming game, want to remind you that you're listening to the DND Football Podcast. All previous episodes can be found anywhere you can listen to your podcast. Also, make sure if you're watching this video that you like, subscribe, and share with a friend. And if you feel so inclined to leave us a 5-star review, you can get your 5 seconds of fame. That's it. That's all. Of course, we appreciate you for tuning in and being a part of this as we celebrate all throughout the season. We're going to be previewing and giving post-game reviews on every Commanders game. Hopefully it's not just 16 of these. I'm sorry, 17 of these. Hopefully it's a few more. You know what I'm saying? So we
That's
go
it, 19.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. That sounds good to me. It's a bye week in there. So yeah, that sounds good. But look, let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's talk about this previous game, the 28-22 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars in FedEx. I was present for the bit. I was in the building and present for the game.
Yes, Sirski.
A fun time. Before we get into the game itself, just want to talk about the actual atmosphere in the building. One thing that's been mentioned previously with the Commanders is that the fan base isn't proud. The stadium be half empty. It's always other people's fans. And those couldn't be further from the truth that we found out this past week, man. The fans were there. Some fans, there was a few empty seats only because of the impending rain, but it turned out to be a great weather day, football weather. The fans were loud. The fans were excited. And they were ready to go, man. And in third down situations, key situations, the fans was up. You saw the video I posted on Twitter, man. It was a fun time, man. I'm curious if that translated on TV, watching the game live. Could you feel any of that? Did you see any of that? What were your thoughts on that, D-Mitty?
Man, listen, bro. Every game I watch, I feel like I'm there. Just being honest. Ever since especially with Sunday Ticket. But I felt like the representation was so alive. It it almost felt like 1992 again, or like 1990 again. I I don't it I thought to myself at one point in time, are they pumping crowd noise through the broadcast? Because it was so loud. And after the game, when I was able to see people post on social media their videos, I was like, no, what I was thinking was actually happening. They were literally loud and engaged.
There was a buzz in the air. Like I tell you, man, we've been excited this whole offseason for this upcoming season, but there was a buzz in the air, a lot of unsure buzz almost, where you didn't know how the team was going to perform. We didn't play too well this preseason. You kind of really didn't know what you was going to get from the team. And then, you come out the first 2 drives, Carson Wentz throws 2 touchdowns, Jahan get into action, Curtis Samuel was all over the field. And I remember looking up and, it being, was it 14-3 or 14-0
Yep.
the time? And just like, no, it's 14. I remember the second quarter is 14-3. And I was just like,
Yep.
who's this team?
Yep, exactly, exactly. My wife came out the room and she was like, "Oh, y'all doing real good," because she remembered the yesteryears and last year the games where she see me out there just on the edge of my seat, ready to turn, and she's seen the different emotions, and she's saying like, "You actually like y'all doing," and I once again felt like this is a different team, man. And I want to ask you, being there in the crowd with with the guys, with some of the people that we've met through social media, was the experience any different from any other game? Maybe being at home, how was the experience for you being in the building?
Being in the building was good, man, because I went to a game last year when we played Seattle.
Okay,
Um,
the Monday nighter.
yeah, and it just wasn't the same. Like, because even at that point in time, we still was kind of floating somewhere near the bottom. You know what I mean? During that time, but it's just like today, Sunday rather, it just felt rejuvenated.
Hmm.
Felt like a fresh start.
Hmm.
Fans was motivated. People was
Hmm.
excited. I mean, talking and communicating with everybody in and around you, people we knew and people we didn't know. Like it was just a cool vibe. It was cool atmosphere, man. And I kind of the way I watch football, bro. Like I'm not built to watch football in the building. Like I'm built to watch football at home
At home, exactly, exactly.
because
I
I
I
got
think
I
about
got
that
my
too.
whole quirks, man. I got my quirks of how I do things, and when I get nervous or when if I gotta get up and go step away from like, bruh, I realized all that. So I'm not too good with watching in the building, but I mean, I already bought all these tickets, so I gotta go for when I get there. But with that, man, even the first two touchdown drives, right? First touchdown drive was a 10 play, 74-yard drive. Okay, with Carson Wentz throwing to Curtis Samuel. And Curtis Samuel got featured a lot on that drive. I mean, this was a thing for the day, man. Time of possession. Because even though after that first touchdown drive, they forced a punt from Jacksonville. And on that second touchdown drive, it was 17 Doug Williams plays
Yes.
that they held the ball and scored and got a touchdown again. So going up 14-3 in that first half, what was your feelings like as far as how we were doing to that point?
To me, I love the play calling. And I noticed something too, listening to Scott Turner's interview and thinking about the game. Those were some plays that he's called before, just different route concepts on the offense. And for the defense to not give up a first series touchdown, I'm like, okay, this like they're ready to win. And that was exciting to me because I'm used to giving the opposing team the first touchdown. I'm used to the playing from behind situation.
The team looked good early on, and then midway through the game, we kind of had a few setbacks, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Turnovers. You're not gonna win too many football games with a lot of turnovers.
No,
And stopped. We had a lot of penalties. Well, I'm not gonna call that on us. The refs kind of was getting happy out there, bro. Uh,
absolutely, absolutely. I feel like the Kendall Fuller, he got two penalties back to back. One was illegal hands, and then the other was PI.
yeah,
The PI, I feel like the PI was, we're controlling the tempo of the game. The zebras are going to control the tempo of the game. The legal hands, I get it. There's that seven. I think it's what, a 7 yard split after you can, before within you can touching the receiver or touching each other. And I seen it. Okay, cool. I get it. The illegal hands, but the other one, it just seemed like, yeah, we're controlling you, Kendall. Kendall decides to play the game, but
that 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 third quarter, and I said this after the third quarter, it was a tale of two halves. That third
oh
quarter
yeah.
was rough because we went punt, then Jacksonville scored. We went punt again. Jacksonville got a field goal. Then we threw a pick. Okay, and then it's the start of the fourth quarter.
Hmm.
Jacksonville got a field goal, and then Carson threw the screen interception right there. So you just look at that section of time where if I didn't have firm belief in our team, I could have left. You could have packed it up and left because you're like, this is what the team normally does, the same thing they
Hmm.
do. And then that interception that he threw turned into a two-play touchdown by Jacksonville. So at this point, the game is close again. Okay, Jacksonville's up,
Hmm.
and Carson comes out, throws another touchdown, the bomb to Terry McLaurin, and then they force Jacksonville with a punt, and then they drive down 16 the touchdown clinching drive, 16 plays, 90 yards, 5 minutes and 2 seconds of possession to really leave as little time as possible for Jacksonville to do anything. Of course, Jacksonville comes back out, throws the interception. That's when Default picks it off, and they end the game right there. So, I mean, it's truly a tale of two halves. You kind of looked at how we started and how we
Yes,
finished. We kind of started how we finished. We had some
exactly.
hiccups in the middle, but I was happy with how the team played as a whole. Of course,
Yes.
we have a lot of things that we can correct and a lot of things that we need to resolve. But after the game, after seeing the stat lines and seeing all the plays, how was your feeling about the team as a whole, and then Carson Wentz and how he performed?
I feel like the defense still has some of those same holes. However,
Decent work.
however, I feel like th- they were more aggressive and at the same token, more alert on the back end. And they were not playing bend to break. They were not, they were not playing that, okay, let's not bend, or
Ben,
break type of defense. And I like it on the offense. Oh man, you can't be more excited for a trio of receivers and a quarterback that look like they can actually put up a 40 burger on anybody in the league. Yes, that's Jacksonville, but Jacksonville got paid to do the same thing Washington did, and that was to win the game. So, and I feel like Gibson is now comfortable. After that game, I feel like he's comfortable. Now, this game, once again, going into Detroit, not to fast forward, will prove something for him as far as if he is comfortable. But I felt great about the play call. I felt great about the offense. I just want that defense to be more alert and continue their aggressiveness.
I mean, for me, this game kind of really showed that you really can't take into consideration anything in the preseason because we saw
Mm-mm,
none of this in the preseason.
mm-mm, none of it.
I'll be honest, I didn't know the offense was going to be like this in the preseason. Um, I definitely believe that they have the potential to be a prolific scoring offense because they
Absolutely.
all over the field, and you finally got a guy that can get it. That can get it to him. The way they employed Curtis Samuel was just, I mean, every time you looked up, and every time after the play was up, it was 6-yard run, Curtis Samuel, 10-yard pass, 10-yard reception, Curtis Samuel. Like, fam, they made a conscious effort in that first series to get him the ball early. And I like that. You want to get your playmakers the ball and kind of get them comfortable. Terry, we know what Terry is. Terry, when his number is called, he makes the plays.
He
Um,
does.
Jahan got 2 touchdowns, rookie of the week in the NFL. Like, I mean, nobody expected that. I was saying today earlier
No.
on Twitter, just talking like, for this game, I didn't expect him to play as well as he did. I mean, I expect him to perform, but I didn't expect him to play as well as he did. I mean, the team just looks good overall. And with Carson, man, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The 2 interceptions might have could have bitten us, but they didn't.
Right.
Came back and rebounded. So I feel good about the team. I feel good about the offense. Um, it's just how we got to put it together week to week, man. And the thing about it is
Absolutely.
you don't play 17 games at one time. You play them one at a time. So we just got to just keep putting the game after game after each other. Go ahead.
Let me throw something at you and ask a question at the same time.
All right.
In regards to the offense, how how did you feel about them staying on the field? Because I see the stat for third downs was at 70%.
I mean, in the past, that's been something that we haven't been good at. On offense and defense, we haven't been able to stay on the field on offense and get off the field on defense. And being able to stay on the field and sustain some of these drives, like, bro, I mean, I mean, I'm just looking through the game log. I mean, 10-play drive, 17-play drive, 4-play drive, 8-play drive, 7-play, 8-play drive, 5-play drive, the 1-play drive with interception, 6-play drive with a touchdown, 16-play drive in the game, a 5-play drive in the game. So I'm like, they have some consistency with staying on the field. And like when they want to hold the ball, like them double-digit drives they have, they holding the ball for a long period of time.
Exactly. And
And
I-
that's
and
important.
that was great because they weren't they kept themselves out of a lot of vulnerable third downs and by getting the first down on a first or second down, and that was great. That's why I want to kind of just plug in right there.
I mean, awesome. Scott Turner has come under fire in previous seasons because sometimes I feel like his offense isn't dynamic enough. But you look at who he had at the helm, where some previous guys may not have been able to make the throws that he would like for us to make. And I
Mm-hmm.
think now you may see a full array of what Scott Turner's offense can do because you do
Mm-hmm.
have somebody that can sling it in there and somebody that's not afraid to make a mistake. And that's kind of what I wanted to harp on very quickly is that I'm good with him throwing 2 interceptions. I'm okay with it. Of course, I would like for him to not throw the interception,
Absolutely.
but you're gonna get that. Nobody's perfect, and for him to, have to have 4 touchdowns, bro. Like I looked up and realized I was like, after the last one, I was like, bro, he threw 4 touchdowns. But he had no rushing touchdowns today. Like he threw 4 of them joints. Like that's crazy. Like if you said he was gonna throw 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions every week and we win, I take it. Sign me up. You know what I'm saying? One of the interceptions was bad, forcing the ball in. That's that screen. I mean, really, I've been going back and forth with people on that screen interception because really, like this first round edge player, bro. First overall pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He knifed in there at the last second and flashed in there and saw it. That's how they teach you how to play. And I mean,
Man, that was a great play on his behalf. Great play.
we've seen other quarterbacks make that same mistake and make the same thing happen. Of course, you would like him maybe throw it at the feet of
Mm-hmm.
Antonio Gibson or not throw it in the trash with that. But I mean, that's an inside screenplay where it can cause a lot of issues. You know what I'm saying? And that
Yeah.
happened. And I think it's because of when it happened and where we were in the field. It was kind of tough to watch. But I mean, no guy's perfect, bro. People gonna make mistakes, man. Quarterbacks gonna make mistakes, but it's how you rebound. And why do I keep saying rebound like that? I keep saying it's how
This
you
is a rebound year for the Commanders.
right?
We rebounded from all the turmoil and everything from yesterday. And this is our rebound year right here,
Is
bro.
that the word of the night? That's
That's what it is.
that's like
But
look,
I want well, speaking of rebound, and I want to throw something at you.
do
I heard a podcast earlier. I can't remember. I can't quote who said it, but they brought something to my attention that they see why Scott, Ron, and Martin brought in Turner and Norwell on the offensive line. But for me, I heard Norwell's name too many times. And
Mm.
if you're on the offensive line and I hear your name called other than the announcement, you're not really doing your job right. And I think he had some illegal hands to the face calls during the second half. My question with that is, do you feel like that offensive line looked different from last year to you? And do you see this offensive line getting better?
I feel like they are a similar offensive lines last year. I mean, after week 1, they're ranked what 7?
I believe.
Their offensive line is. But all these stats are gonna be kind of trumped up because you have a good game. You're gonna be ranked high right now. You kind of really want to get like maybe a 4 game sample size to see how they do. But I think they played well. I think they did what they were asked to do. They didn't give up any sacks. Uh, you know, that's kind of what you want. Carson was able to make some plays. He did get a couple hits on him, but the O line didn't give up any sacks. And yes, you're gonna have those penalties, but I just think, as many times as Norwell's name been called, Morgan Moses' name had been called forever. It felt like Morgan Moses' name called every drive. It's like, oh, that's just Morgan. No shade to you, bro. I'm just saying, man. So, I mean, everybody gonna have them days.
hmm Absolutely, man. And I just feel like for me, I like how he played because in the run game, he was tenacious. He was Norwell, that is. And Turner seemed to me that I didn't hear his name. And it seemed like he was able to prevent that pocket from closing in that one Mississippi, two Mississippi quarterback head count. So yeah, I think they can improve. I think they can kind of stay at that seventh rank where they are running pass block, because to me he's getting better. He looked better than last year in that one game. He looked better than what I seen him, and I feel like Leno. I seen some cut up of him against the first overall pick, and he let him know, welcome to the NFL, Ricky.
Yeah,
And
man. They both look good, bro. Like I was pleasantly surprised that Carson having time, being able to look downfield, go to second, third read, to kind of make some of these plays. And that's kind of what you want every week. Just want some consistency with the line. And I think as far as consistency to segue into this week's game, you're gonna have to play consistent against Detroit, who proved last week that they can score points. And
Yes.
I think the issue with our defense
Yes.
is that if we don't get it together, it might be a shootout. We might have to see a couple touchdowns
That's true.
from Carson. So I'm like, what are your keys to this week's game? What do you think that we will have to do to get a victory in Detroit this weekend?
The number one key is kind of bridging from what we were just talking about, the O line. They will have to maintain that Detroit defensive line from getting home. And as long as that happens, not only will the run game be stout, I feel like Carson will continue to carve up defenses as long as he has time and not make those decisions, and his mechanics will be on par. I'm gonna have three keys. So my second key is going to be our receivers being the X factor over their DBs. I don't feel like they we are we're overly matched against their DBs. However, I like the matchup, and that that being the key for Carson Wentz to be able to get the ball out. And three, our pass rush getting home. Is Montez Sweat going to turn last week's non-quarterback pressures into at least one or two or one and a half sacks? Is bringing in Donovan Jeter? Is him and Obata and Wise, are they going to be able to assist with getting home on pass rush? So those are my three keys to the game.
I mean, even to your point with the keys to the game. I mean, Jared Goff is not a mobile quarterback, so he's gonna stand there. And if the pressure is getting back there, we should be able to get some hits on him. We should be able to touch him up a little bit. And I would,
Coverage picks.
yeah. Oh man, I would love to see that. And just going to my keys, man. I really think that we'll have to be dynamic on the offensive side of the football. Um, use the speed that we have on offense and kind of, get guys going. I mean, you're going to be on a nice slick surface indoors. You don't have to worry about any weather. Guys will be in a controlled environment. I really want to see them make some moves and get downfield and use the speed that we have on offense. My second key to the game on offense is to take a few more shots. You got a guy that can really throw it out there. We saw last week when he took the shots, they went through.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to see that a couple more times. I want to see at least I don't know if this is too much to ask, but I think I want to see like one shot per drive. Like I want to see him take a play action and send a guy on a 7 route deep. Like I want to see something
Yeah.
deep almost every drive because I think they can do it. And my final key to this week's game is the defense needs to make a play. Even if you end up in a situation where you're in bend but don't break, I need a turnover. I need an interception. I need a fumble. Like I need a big play from this defense in the scoring column. I would like to see them return a touchdown, return a fumble, take it to the house. I need them. I want them to help out because I feel like Detroit has proved that they can score some points. So if it's
Yes.
a situation where we need some points, I want us to be able to help them with the defensive side of the ball. So I think overall, I think we're gonna win. I know we can win. I believe we can win. But I think this team is motivated to kind of shut up some of these doubters and try to go up there and get a victory, man. What do you think in regards to that?
I love you. I love your keys to the game because that's something I won't say anticipate. That's something I always would love to see every game. Who's going to get that pick six? Who's going to force the fumble? Who's going to have that sack or that safety? And it seems like we will win games without them, but you just want to see a defense do things like that because you're knowing that they're once again being aggressive and being alert. And that to me is two keys to having a great defense. And one thing that stands out to me as far as you saying about our offense being dynamic and taking shots. I feel like that's what Scott may do because if you recall the last game in Detroit when we had Alex Smith, they tried the Statue of Liberty play, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe Scott finds Detroit as the team that's going to help him go deep into the playbook and take shots downfield because you have the receivers and our guy. I don't think he suited up last game, number two, and hopefully he suits up this game.
I mean, he did suit up, but he only had 4 plays, I believe.
Yeah,
Um,
he was
but I,
kind of absentee on my playlist. I didn't see him on my play sheet.
and see, the thing is, I think what they're gonna do is, I think because they do have so many dynamic receivers and skill guys, they're gonna roll with the high hand. So if Jahan is having a good game, they're gonna get him to rock. If Curtis is having a good game, they're gonna get him to rock. You
Yeah,
know, if Yami come in and have and start getting some catches, they may rotate to him. And I think that's why um at first I kind of was like, Terry is the guy. But I
yeah.
think he's the guy, he's unselfish. He'll allow other guys to get off. And I think whoever gets the hot hand this week, they're gonna get a lot of catches. And it's just you never know who it could be. And it could be Logan. Logan could get back in the mix because he came back last week and played pretty well for the time he was there.
Absolutely. And I was looking at the injury report, and I believe I believe our Ricky tight end Cole Turner is up this week as far as practicing and might be able to be on the, so he might be a guy that not necessarily have a breakout game, but be a part of that game plan to open up the playbook. But I have another tidbit too about this week's game.
Sure.
I don't know if you've seen the injury report, but the star running back for the Detroit Lions has been DNP for the past 2 days.
It's Will.
So to me, if it's an ankle and it was being reported by NFL Network that he's saying he'll play, but 2 days DNP,
This
I
early
mean,
in this early in the season, man, to have I mean, let's just take it out. Let's take our fan hats off. I mean, if I'm Dan Campbell, I'm like, yeah, if you can go, you can go. But I don't want to sacrifice you now if it's gonna be something that's gonna linger the rest of the season. Take a rest, get yourself together if it's an ankle. But of course, players want to play, and Dan Campbell will probably let him play. But how effective will he be?
and he seems like the type of coach that'll be like, you know what, I want to win. I want my guys out there.
Right, right. And then on top of that, it's like, you know, you gotta attack that. Like you gotta attack. You gotta be able to not let them get going. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to control it, gotta be able to stop that. And if it's Jamal Williams that's gonna be the guy, then
And he can have a good game.
yeah, he can. So I mean, it's just a lot that you can kind of look at with this game and kind of see what's going to happen this week. I don't know. I'm super excited, man. I leave out very soon to go to this game. Going to be in the building. I just want us to win, bro. I just want us to win. I want to start 2-0. It'll be the first time we started 2-0 since 2011, I believe, or something like that. First
I
time we
believe
started
so. I
something.
believe so.
So and I mean, it's perfect time, man. Perfect time. You gotta win. These are the games that you mark back when the schedule come out that you should win, that you say you should win.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I feel like another advantage that we should have in this game is coaching.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, if you may not know as fans, or you may not know that their coaching staff is, I believe, all within like 10, less than 10 years of experience. And our coaching staff has the experience. And with Ron and Jack at the helm, at the top of the hierarchy of that coaching staff, we should be able to pull out a win based on the maturity level of our coaches.
Yes, indeed, man. I agree with you, D Mitty. Look, man, tonight's episode is short and sweet, bro. We we excited we won against Jacksonville, but that game is over. We on to Detroit. And we got to get the job done. And I'm excited, man. I'm trying to temper my expectations, and I'm pretty sure I have a lot of stories to share on next week's episode about the trip to Detroit,
Yes, sir.
a win that we get in Detroit. So
I want to hear about it all. I want to hear about the good food, the experience, the people you met. I want to hear it all, brother.
hey, man, we'll get into it. And in the meantime, in between time, make sure you pull for our Commanders and you represent every day for our Washington Commanders. Of course, you can go ahead and check out every other episode of the DND Football Podcast, wherever you're listening to this podcast. Also, we got Kangs of the Rain. We got Win and Lose Radio that's still there. We got regular. Hey, look, man, it's something for everyone. Okay. We are equal opportunity listeners. So it's something for everybody ears. But right now, it's best about the Commanders, man. So every week, me and D Mitty will be here on the D&D Football Podcast to talk about the Washington Commanders. Title coming soon. I don't know what it's going to be, but we'll probably have a title by like week 8. And look, we'll catch you on the
Hopefully sooner than that.
right, something, right? Maybe I'll come up with a title this weekend, bro. It'll be
Absolutely,
the D&D Football
absolutely.
Podcast beating the Lions. That's what we call.
There you go. There you go.
Right.
That's this week's pie.
Right. Hey man, but look, everybody, peace and love. Y'all be safe, love somebody, man, and let's go. Our Washington Commanders.
HTTC.